It's the recap for Sunday, October 20th, 2024. I'm Daniel Montoya Jr. for General Effect Media. If you're anything like me, you probably enjoy shocking wins, upsets, all kinds of craziness and chaos, unless, of course, that involves all three of the schools you attended for college when all three lose in the same weekend. Regardless, we had lots and lots of fun results happening across the country at local contests if you're in Texas, or I guess they're all local depending on where you are currently living. So let's get into it, and we're going to start with the Bands of America Indianapolis Super Regional, the first Super Regional of the year. And we made some predictions. We predicted that Carmel was going to win, that it was going to be some sort of Carmel, Avon, William Mason, Blue Springs top four rather. And guess what? We were right about it being a top four. But when it was all said and done, it looks like Carmel didn't even win prelims. Now, understanding that there are two different panels and two different judging panels, and I've always said that you can kind of compare scores from contest to contest because you're competing against a rubric. So I've got to stay true to that. If that was the case, Blue Springs, Missouri won prelims. They were first place in their panel. Carmel was first place in their panel. Going off of the scores, however, Blue Springs placed first. And if we look at the sub-captions in prelims, I promise we're going to get to finals in a second, you can see how they in fact did that. Blue Springs won the following sub-captions: individual music, individual visual, all of visual, music GE1, music GE2, all of music GE, visual GE, and then all of GE. That's the sub-captions and captions they won in prelims. If we go to Carmel, they won ensemble music and they won overall music, and that was it. And then if you go to Avon, who eventually, spoiler alert, won the entire regional, all they won was ensemble visual. Again, different panels, I totally understand. But again, you're competing against a rubric, so ideally, they are a little bit comparable. Now, I like to look at the scores and see where things get either a little chaotic, a little wonky, we'll just say a little surprising. And again, double panels, the goal of the judges is to get the right 14 into finals. I've been there, I completely get it. So you can't really put too much stock into, well, however many groups competed. I think 85 might have competed at the Super Regional. So you're going to get some major zip code type subcaptions. For example, Castle, who made finals and was 6th overall in prelims, 23rd in individual visual. Wild. Owasso right behind them in 7th. They were 15th in individual visual. We go to Fishers. They were 15th in individual music, 19th in individual visual. Choctaw, 15th ensemble visual, 15th individual visual. The first one was ensemble music for Choctaw. We go to Bixby, who was 16th in ensemble music, 15th in ensemble visual, 20th in GE1, 15th overall GE music, 17th visual GE, 15th GE. There's just wildness of the groups that actually made finals, that their scores placed them out of finals in some of their captions. Noblesville had one caption, 19th for music GE2. Carroll, who ended up placing 14th, 18th in music individual, 15th in music overall, 19th in visual individual, 18th in music GE1. Music total was 15th for Carroll. So these top 14 groups had a lot of captions placing them outside. So if they place outside, surely that means that some groups that didn't make finals had subcaptions that placed them in finals. For example, Independence, Virginia, who placed 15th just out of finals, they placed in finals in ensemble music, ensemble visual, GE1, GE2 music, overall GE music, GE visual. Basically, what kept them out was individual music, their overall music average, individual visual, and their overall visual score. We can look at Lincoln Way, who was 16th. They also were in finals, theoretically, based off of individual music, individual visual, their overall visual, music GE1, their GE total. That had them in finals. In fact, you can go as far down as 22nd, Center Grove, Indiana. In visual ensemble, they placed in finals. Westfield, who was 20th, visual individual, they were in finals. Overall visual, they were in finals. Centerville, music GE1, they had them in finals. It was wild. It's wild. And that's the thing that I've said, and you can talk about it for super regionals everywhere, for state marching contests. The goal is to get the finalists in. There's going to be some muddiness. There is going to be some zip codiness to the recap when you get down to it. It doesn't necessarily mean you are as good or as bad as some of these sub-captions will lead on, especially when you start getting lower and lower. Things get really, really muddy. I always say, and this is just me, this is not coming from any circuit or anything, you can probably look at the top, the finalists, and just out of finals, and then you can look at the bottom, and those are the most true sub-caption scores out there. I think if you're taking 14, I think you could say safely top 20, maybe top 25, depending on how much. Those are pretty locked in, and those are pretty true to how things are going. And then the bottom, because your goal is to get the top 14 in. So there's going to be some fuzziness when you get to that 8 into 20, but beyond that, it gets a little wonky. Now, if we look into Indianapolis finals, that's right, Avon, Indiana proved me wrong and proved victorious overall. They won with a 92.2 over 92.00 by Carmel. 0.2, which if we go off of the whole thing, very close. Any given day, any given Sunday, or any given Saturday, because Saturday's for the band. Especially when you look at that Carmel won music, Avon won visual, and they won GE, and they only won by 0.2. Well, how did that happen? Well, let's look into the recap. Carmel wins music first. Blue Springs gets second in music. Avon gets third in music. Now, they basically squeeze them in. 18.6 for Carmel, 18.45 for Blue Springs, 18.3 for Avon. So pretty close, pretty comparable. Flip a coin could happen 5 out of 6 times. We go to visual. That's where Avon really took it. They won first in all captions, but it was only by 18.5 to an 18.4. Negligible. Like it was basically, and as we saw, prelims to finals, it was Carmel's and prelims, and then Avon, just however worked out, they won in there. Then we go into general effect. Avon won one music GE, Carmel won the other music GE, and then Carmel ends up winning overall music GE. However, visual GE, 18.40 for Avon to an 18.10. That's a 0.3 difference, which is still minor differences, very comparable. But that's eventually what led to Avon being able to win by 0.2 and taking 2 captions. Very close. Very, very close. In fact, Blue Springs takes individual music with an 18.9. 18.7 for Carmel, very, very comparable. 18.5 for Avon. So that was a 0.4 difference. We're still in minor differences, very comparable, but it's a pretty significant gap when you're talking about how the other captions tend to be a 0.1, 0.2. This was 0.4. On field, sampling, the on-field judge was Jeremy Spicer, a Texas person. So take that however you want, how you want to do it. But a Texas person who we tend to snobbily think have the best top to bottom players said Blue Springs had the best top to bottom players on field music. Nevertheless, Avon comes out victorious at the Indianapolis Super Regional. If you remember last year, Carmel won the Super Regional, Avon won Grand Nationals. Will this year prove to be opposite? Who knows? Because at the Indy Super Regional, you don't have everybody. You don't have Texas groups that are going. You may have a few South Carolina groups that might be going. You certainly don't have a certain Florida group that may be going, which we might talk about later on. But first, we're going to move on to Johnson City for the Johnson City Regional. Now, this is where we predicted that Dobyns-Bennett would not win. And we were right. However, we predicted James F. Burns would win, and we were wrong. Because Lafayette, Kentucky is victorious as the winner of the Johnson City Regional. Now, this is another one of those things where you look at the captions, and I told you the captions, you would think one thing versus another. I tell you Avon wins 2 captions, you assume that their victory was by a larger margin. I tell you that James Burns wins music and visual, and Lafayette only wins GE. You probably assume that Burns won, right? Well, GE carries a lot of weight. If we look at this, James F. Burns wins music individual in finals. Music performance ensemble goes to Lafayette. However, the score, overall music, goes to James F. Burns. Now, James F. Burns gets an 18.4 on the field music, 18.2 for Dobyns, very comparable, minor differences, 17.8 for Lafayette. James F. Burns, 0.60 better than Lafayette on the field in music. That is pretty significant. That is almost a different league, but they are definitely saying, based on sample size, and this was music individual Mark Nichols, another Texas person, that James F. Burns was significantly better on-field music than Lafayette. However, in ensemble music, they had a 17.5 to James F. Burns' 17.10. That's a 0.4 difference, kind of in the minor differences. Minor differences, but not very comparable, but minor enough. However, 17.75 to a 17.65. Honestly, it was still close. Then we go to visual, where Dobyns-Bennett took on-field visual 18.5. The champion, Lafayette, 17.9. This is a 0.6 difference, just as much as James F. Burns beat Lafayette on-field music. We go to visual ensemble, where James F. Burns have a 17.4. However, Lafayette has a 17.3. Very comparable, very comparable. Overall, 17.85 for James F. Burns to a 17.6 for Lafayette. So far, you have 0.1 difference in music. You have a 0.25. That's a 0.35 difference that James F. Burns has built over Lafayette. And then you go into music GE. And Lafayette wins GE 1, 17.3, with James F. Burns in third with the 16.9. Music GE2 had Dobyns-Bennett on top with a 17.6. James F. Burns 17.4. Lafayette 17.5. So still close. And then overall GE music averages out to 34.8 for Lafayette, a 34.3 for James F. Burns. The lead is all gone because it's a 0.5 difference. We now have 0.15 for Lafayette ahead of James F. Burns. You go into visual, 17.5 for Lafayette, 17.4 for James F. Burns. You put it all together, and that's how you get an 87.55 for Lafayette, Kentucky, for an 87.30 for James F. Burns. Lafayette wins the Johnson City Regional. We won't say it was a win for us, but we were right to pick against. And we were right. We were right. We were more wrong, though. We predicted James F. Burns, and I think we assumed that Dobyns would get second. Lafayette said, hold my, and this is Lafayette, Kentucky. So hold my bourbon is what they said. If it was Lafayette, Louisiana, it'd be hold my beignet. Before we move on to the Newark finals, General Effect Media is selling merchandise. You can go to our store and you can find General Effect stuff, General Effect Media. We have our Saturdays are for the band. We have our gem logo. We have some other fun stuff from years ago, pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, all that kind of stuff. Be sure to visit, because if you buy and when you buy, all profits after administrative fees are shared with our content creators. They are all very appreciative of it. But if you'd rather just give us money, we have a coffee place, ko-fi, where you can donate money to us. Again, after administrative fees, all profits are shared with the content creators. This is a hobby. It's a labor of love. We all do it for fun. So we'd very much appreciate any and all support you can offer. Hey, why not? Why not, right? Why not sport a t-shirt, a long sleeve shirt, a sweatshirt, or a hoodie and support General Effect Media? On to Newark, Delaware. Newark, Delaware. New York Finals. Kiski area won. We predicted Kiski was going to win, and they won. However, they did not win all three captions. They did take music and general effect. Norwin, however, took visual. And when you look at the breakdown on the recap, Norwin had a 16.9 on the field visual to a 16.3. They had a 16.7 average to a 16.6 overall. So they really won visual by 0.10. They also took the visual effect caption 17.3 to 16.9. However, just not enough for Norwin to get the win. They got that one caption. It was an 85.3 for Kiski area to an 84.8 for Norwin, Pennsylvania. It was a Pennsylvania top two. Moon area, Pennsylvania got fourth. That's three Pennsylvania groups. Hempfield was six. James, nope, that's not. Susquehannock, ninth. We had five groups from the great state of Philadelphia who made finals on there. So congratulations to Abbott Elementary and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, a cross-effort episode that we absolutely cannot wait to see. As we turn our attention to Waco, be sure to subscribe to General Effect Media on SUBSTACK. It's how we started out. It's the written word, articles, reviews, commentary, opinions, and it also lets you know when a new episode of your favorite General Effect Media show drops on the YouTube channel. So you get to double dip. You get to find out on Substack when we drop a video, and you get to know about some great articles that come out. We also have an Instagram page. Subscribe to that. There are pictures and photos and stories and reels and all that good stuff. Just another way for you to show your support and love for General Effect Media. Waco, Texas, for the hashtag BecauseWaco BOA Regional. Now, we had predicted that Cedar Ridge would end up being victorious. And guess what? We were right. We were right. Look at us. Kiski area, Cedar Ridge, we're on a roll. We are on a roll here. In finals, Dripping Springs took music. James Bowie took visual. See, we mentioned James Bowie. Did you hear that? James Bowie from Austin, Texas won the visual caption. We mentioned it. James Bowie High School, Austin, Texas. And then Cedar Ridge took that all-important general effect caption. If we look at the breakdown on here, Cedar Ridge was first in individual music. Dripping Springs was first in ensemble music, ending up taking overall music with a 17.65 to a 17.6 by our champion Cedar Ridge. 0.05. It's just the way the averages came out. I totally get it. When you look at it that way, basically you're saying it doesn't matter. You throw it up in the air and go, Cedar Ridge, Dripping Springs. That's what it pretty much amounted to. You go to visual, where Cedar Ridge was first in individual visual. Westlake was first in ensemble visual. It all averaged out to James Bowie getting first in ensemble visual. James Bowie was second in both visual performance subcaptions. It just happened to work out because Cedar Ridge was first and fourth. Westlake was sixth and first. James Bowie takes it with a 17.45 to a 17.4. Again, another caption, whereas the number comes out, it looks like a coin flip. 0.05 difference. So far, Cedar Ridge is, well, they're within 0.05 in both of these captions. It's close. It's absolutely cannot be any closer unless it is a tie. We then go to General Effect, where Cedar Ridge took all the sub-captions, took all of the captions in General Effect. They were first. If you look at how it ended up going the other way, in one of the music General Effect judges, they had Dripping Springs in second. Another one had Westlake in second. Overall, you get Dripping Springs in second. Then you get to visual GE, where Westlake was in second in visual. Westlake was second in GE overall. Here's a little number that sticks out to you as a little weird. 8th place for the 4th place Dripping Springs in visual General Effect. That was Kim Kuhn. Kim Kuhn did not like what she saw for whatever reason, which put Dripping Springs in 4th place. I don't know the numbers and I don't know math enough to know if that is the reason they are in 4th. If Kim Kuhn kept Dripping Springs from getting 3rd or possibly higher, because it's 85.35 for Dripping, 85.7 for Westlake, 85.85 for James Bowie. Somebody smarter than me can put in the comment section down below. But if Dripping Springs was, well, right now they're in GE, they were 2, 3, 2. If they were even 4th, what happens to Dripping Springs' overall placement? As high as 2nd, maybe only 3rd? Let me know in the comment section down below. Cedar Ridge wins what we believe is their 2nd BOA Regional Championship in Waco, Texas. Congratulations to the Cedar Ridge Band. We love them. They won 87.8 to an 85.85, an almost 2-point victory over 2nd place James Bowie High School from Austin, Texas, in the Austin Independent School District, located off of Slaughter Lane in the great state of Texas. And finally, before we wrap it all up with the Winnsboro battle for the spear, if at any point you liked anything that we've talked about thus far, make sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click that notification bell. And if you really, really, really like it, why not share the video with your friends, your family, or the people that would hate us? Hate on. Give us a comment in the comment section down below. We love that stuff. Engagement is always good. We will do our best to engage with you, provided your comment invites engagement. And who knows, we may mention your school multiple times because we have been told we don't talk about the James Bowie High School Outdoor Performance Ensemble from Austin, Texas, in the Austin Independent School District in the great state of Texas, in these United States of North America, on planet Earth. We'll mention you. There's like 1,000 some odd bands. We can't mention you all, but much like throwing bottles on the field at a football game gets referees to change a call to the right call, by the way, to the correct call, Maybe commenting that I don't mention your group in the comment section will get me to mention your group. Who knows? Who knows? Go Bulldogs, right? All right. It's the Winnsboro Battle for the Sphere. The Spear. Wow, the Sphere. I got Las Vegas on my mind. Now, this particular person has sent me results before. Says he has video proof. So we're going to trust this person again. They have a lot of class awards on here. It looks like they are dividing the classes based on UIL classes. Here we have 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A. We go into 2A, Rivercrest sweeps all 2A caption awards, which are Outstanding Woodwinds, Outstanding Percussion, Outstanding Color Guard, Outstanding Brass, Outstanding Front Ensemble, and Outstanding Band. This is Class 2A. We go into Class 3A, where Atlanta High School out of Texas, takes Best Percussion. Redwater takes Best Color Guard. Redwater takes Best Front Ensemble. Atlanta takes Best Winds. And Atlanta also takes Outstanding Band. They say outstanding. I just throw best. I realize some people don't like that. Just leave in the comment section down below. I'm sorry. In 4A, it was a clean sweep for who I'm assuming is this person's home band. Pleasant Grove High School, Outstanding Percussion, Color Guard, Front Ensemble, Winds, and Band in Class 4A. And then we get to Class 5A, where West Mesquite High School takes Outstanding Percussion, Outstanding Front Ensemble. Marshall High School takes Outstanding Color Guard, and Mount Pleasant, Texas takes Outstanding Winds and Outstanding Band in Class 5A. And the only attendee for Class 6A, Grand Prairie, sweeps all captions. Now, they have 10 finalists that advanced to it. 10th place was Grand Prairie. 9th place was Marshall. 8th place was Willis Point. 7th place was Naaman Forest. 6th place was Rivercrest High School, who last year was 3rd at the 3A state marching contest. Redwater placed 5th, who was 6th at last year's 4A state marching contest. Following along thus far, Pleasant Grove ended up 4th overall. West Mesquite was 3rd overall. Atlanta placed 2nd, and last year they were 4th at 4A state marching contest, and your champion was Mount Pleasant High School. I did not find if Mount Pleasant, West Mesquite, Pleasant Grove, Naaman Forest, Willis Point, Marshall, or Grand Prairie had advanced to the state marching contest. I went to the UIL archives. I did not find them. Does not mean that I am right. I do not believe that these groups made it to state prelims or state finals, as far as I was checked. Someone can correct me in the comment section down below. Outstanding Drum Major was Atlanta High School. Outstanding Percussion was Redwater. Outstanding Color Guard was Mount Pleasant. The People's Choice, also Mount Pleasant. That was the Winnsboro Battle for the Spear. What an amazing weekend of band. If you are down here in Texas, you know that we are in UIL season. Groups have started having region band competition, which is like round 1 to advance into the state marching contest. Round 1's region. Round 2 is area prelims. I'll say round 3 is area finals. They take the top groups into state prelims, which is round 4, and then the final round is state finals. So potentially you're talking about 5 different performances if you advance that far for your respective classification. There are some classes in Texas, I believe 1A and 2A, that if you get a 1 at region, you automatically advance to state marching contests. So there's no area. You take out 2, it goes region, state prelims, potentially state finals. So you're looking at 3 potential performances, I believe, for 1A and 2A bands in the state of Texas. Yes, we will be following the UIL region and area and all-state process because we are here in Austin, Texas, home of your Fighting Bulldogs from James Bowie High School in the Austin Independent School District here in Austin, the Violet Crown in the Lone Star State, Texas, our Texas in these United States of America, North America, Northern Hemisphere, planet Earth, Milky Way galaxy. We'll be back some other time, Friday, for This Weekend in Band, where we will be previewing local contests happening around the state, regions, areas, local contests, Bands of America contests, all that great stuff. Leave us a comment in the comment section down below. Share the video, all that great stuff. We'd love to know what you think about what happened today on the recap here at General Effect Media. We'll catch you next week. James Bowie High School.